Hello everyone, I'm back, and today being Monday, I wanted to, if I haven't said so before, talk about how starting like last week, sort of, I want to start doing what I want to call Movie Monday, where basically I watch a movie and it might be a newer movie, it might be an older movie, but it's a movie that I haven't seen before or that I've wanted to see, and I watch it and do a little review of it. And last week I did Stanley Kubrick's Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, as well as I did a little bit of a review on the Lizzie Bennet Diaries. And so today I just want to talk about a movie that I just finished watching called Richard II, which is part of a mini-series done, or something like that, a mini-series done by the BBC called the Hollow Crown series, which takes four Shakespearean plays that are all sort of grouped together. Richard II, Henry IV Part 1, Henry IV Part 2, and Henry V. And so they call that the Hollow Crown series, and I watched the first episode today, which is Richard II. And it was amazing. I really enjoyed it. You know, you can look up the synopsis of Richard II on Wikipedia. It's pretty available. Shakespeare is out there for the world, but basically Richard II is the story of how Henry IV came to the throne. Richard II and Henry IV, or Henry Bolingbroke as he is called in the play, are cousins. Both their fathers were brothers, and so there's this scene at the beginning of the play where Henry Bolingbroke has challenged another nobleman to a duel over some kind of rumors of treason. And basically they go through with the duel, and they're on the field ready to do this duel when the king suddenly calls a halt to the whole thing. And instead of one of them killing the other, the king banishes both of them. Henry Bolingbroke he banishes for 6 years, the other nobleman he banishes for life. And Henry Bolingbroke, by the way, is the heir to the Duke of Lancaster. And while Bolingbroke is in exile, the Duke of Lancaster dies. And after his death, Richard II seizes all the property and that would have gone to Henry Bolingbroke, who is now the Duke of Lancaster, and uses it to fund a war in Ireland. And meanwhile, you learn through scenes with other nobles that he's been doing that to a lot of the other nobles. He's been taxing them very highly, not treating the plebeians very well, and it's raised a lot of discontent in the kingdom. Meanwhile, Henry Bolingbroke, also who is now the Duke of Lancaster, has really endeared himself to the populace. And so Henry Bolingbroke comes back to claim the lands that are rightfully his, which causes a lot of tension because he is also a candidate for the crown. And so the Duke of York is getting a little bit nervous because he has been charged with the caretaking of the kingdom while Richard is in Ireland. And basically Henry takes over the kingdom. Richard II comes back and discovers that all his allies have been killed, and that Bolingbroke is now trying to take over the kingdom. At one point, Bolingbroke confronts Richard and says, "No, that's not it at all. I want what is mine. I want my lands that are due to me from my father. I want my property back and all of this." But Richard pretty much ends up surrendering the crown to Henry, and there's a really amazing scene where Ben Whishaw, who plays Richard II, rides in on a donkey, and he's barefoot in his robe, in his kingly robe, and Ben Whishaw is an amazing actor. You might know him from Perfume, which is Perfume: The Story of a Murder. Amazing actor, and he's just absolutely stunning in this climactic scene between Henry IV and Richard II. Amazing. And that is actually a scene that was written out of the play when back in the day when it was first performed, and then put back in because it's a scene where Richard puts the crown in front of Henry and says, "Here, take the crown, cousin." And it caused a lot of strife because it was kind of a case of there was a lot of interesting things going on politically in Elizabethan England at the time, and so it was kind of like the theater was sort of a political, arena. You could kind of say what you wanted there, and it's just a play. So the fact that it was in the play, this scene where the people pretty much take the crown from the king and give it to someone who is worthy, is kind of it was a big thing. But this scene, it was amazing, and I definitely recommend the play if you are or this particular adaptation if you like Shakespeare. I don't recommend it if you are new to Shakespeare. It does not move very quickly. It gets kind of boring, and it's very, very wordy. Richard II loves to talk. So if you are new to Shakespeare, I don't recommend this particular play. I would recommend something like Henry V. If you're going to watch a history, because there's a lot more action to it and a lot more fun stuff. But this particular this movie was directed by Rupert Gould, who also directed a adaptation of Macbeth that starred Patrick Stewart, which was really exciting. I really enjoyed that. Something that I noticed about this play this adaptation, it wasn't filmed in a studio, it was filmed outside, a lot of scenes were, and but you didn't lose the intimacy of it being a play. You still felt there. It felt live to me, and I think that has a lot to do with how amazing the actors are, and also I felt like this particular edition was really trying to portray Richard II as a martyr. I would have to go through and do some research to see if other productions have done the same thing, but Ben Whishaw is dressed pretty much in white and gold throughout the entire play. There's a really great scene at the beginning of the movie where the king is watching this young man's portrait being painted as a martyr, with arrows sticking out. And at the end of the play, Richard II is murdered, and he also is shot with bow and arrow, and he has arrows sticking out. So there were some really great images in the movie, but they definitely, the way Ben Whishaw played him, he was a very emotional Richard II. He was definitely, you felt sorry for him, at least I did, even though, Henry IV is a really charismatic king, and Henry V even more so. But I felt sorry for Richard II in this movie. And I don't know if they intended for him to be portrayed as a martyr, but I definitely felt that was the case. So I would have to give this particular adaptation of Richard II, I would say 4.5 out of 5 stars, just because there was so much talking, which I know is part of the play, but this is my review, and I give it 4.5 stars because the scenery was amazing, the dialogue, of course, is amazing. That's Shakespeare for you, but the acting was outstanding. In fact, I changed that. I give it 5 out of 5 stars. Just for the acting alone, it should get 5 stars. So, I really enjoyed this movie Monday with you guys, and I'll see you next Monday with, I think I'm going to do Henry IV Part 1, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!